don't write a lot until I know that I've signed up to come here, and then it's pressure. The first poem, I have two poems tonight. The first one I've been working on for a while. I'm trying to capture a mood of something that happened a while ago, maybe 15 years. It was the last time I think my mom was up north with us, and there was a particular time that really resonated with me, and I've been trying to put it into words ever since, and I think, well, this iteration, I think I have it. The title is, and here we go, Her Wheelchair Was a Stallion. Her full-bodied black aboriginal hair matched the color of the wheelchair. She rode like a wild stallion she had harnessed and reined as we pushed her down the roadway, so the warm spring summer lake breeze could tickle her eyelashes. The warmth of it brushing over her skin like a feathery blush reaching out from the eternal. That day, after laying her dear friend's ashes to rest and watching the uncaged doves fly home, she seemed a bit side-saddled. She held on to the tall, radiant beauty of ancient pink lilacs growing where a home used to be. She giggled at daffodils, embarrassed because they knew they were the color of egg yolks being scrambled by the sun. And she agreed that the spring birds in all their finery were indeed calling out to their lovers for help with the endless cycle of bringing moss and sticks that would hug their together eggs in a warm, grassy haven. It's interesting how a youthful zest and a twinkle can re-inhabit the eyes of the dying when their thinned, translucent skin tightens down with a glow over jaw bones that cradle the still fresh memories of childhood. Similar, perhaps, to how the earthy smell of rotting leaves becomes the first scent of spring, and how we think of her more on the day of her birth than on the day of her dying. You can clap. And so I told you that knowing that I'm coming here puts a bit of pressure, and I tried to write something new. And this is about what I was doing last Saturday while I was trying to write something to come here. It's called On Saturday Before the Election. And I need you to know that when I am struggling with writing, I resort to verse, because verse comes easy for me, but then I think it's a cop-out. So this is verse, because it's a cop-out. Anyway, on Saturday before the election. I fancy myself a poet. An amateur, this is true. But from time to time I write some lines and connect a word or two. Yet today the words aren't flowing. My hippocampus has been damned. I appreciate your indulgence while I work through this jam. Sometimes I do have writer's block and struggle with what to say. Right now, it's more that I'm anxious about Election Day. Quite soon we'll know the outcome and how our neighbors feel. Meanwhile, I stare out the window toward a future that seems surreal. The arc of the universe, moral, bends towards justice, so I've heard. But I feel whiplash from all this bending. What's going on seems absurd. And there is much I find concerning that will not easily go away, no matter who wins a majority or thinks they'll get their way. Because Black lives will not suddenly matter, and separated families will stay apart, unless together we continue to stand up and keep speaking from the heart. The icebergs are still slowly melting. The seas, they'll continue to rise. no matter who is in office, unless we keep eyes on the prize. Well, it's easy to blame the other, the immigrant, or the queer. That puts kindling on a narrative that only stokes the flames of fear. I believe those who campaign for office, promising better lives for our brood, should not hurl petty insults that are beyond the pale and rude. Spewing slander is just a diversion. Peddling hate, I thought was a crime. It's essential we keep our focus because we're running out of time. Our common humanity ought be the focus. Truth to power, our daily rule. Prizing people more than profits, the main objective and our fuel. The emperor is clearly naked, but his loyal court has yet to admit. Perhaps we'll elect truth tellers, which might help out a little bit. But it's on us to find our way forward, to reach out a hand and say, I understand your trauma, yet I've experienced this a different way. Reconciliation is essential. The rifts between us we must mend. Or that canary in the coal mine, well, we know how that ends. Well, I wish I could bring you more humor, a clever or witty verse. As I ponder the upcoming election, my thoughts are just too perverse. Thank you.
Yeah, Jan.